Hello there, I'm Azleena Najri and thanks for joining me this Friday on 7Edition. The headlines. Pandemonium as PKR Youth Congress turns ugly. Education Ministry and police to probe a video of students singing Negaraku in Mandarin. And 4 dead after jewellery heist turns into fatal shootout. The Education Ministry MOE and the police have started investigations into a video which had gone viral on social media today showing a group of students singing Negaraku in Mandarin. Now, in a statement, the ministry said it is fully aware of the video as well as the singing of the national anthem in Mandarin and other languages aside from Bahasa Malaysia, which also occurred at several other schools. According to the statement, a thorough investigation is being carried out on the issue, and the ministry stressed it will not compromise with any quarter which flouted the rules involving the federal constitution, whether deliberately or otherwise. Bukit Aman CID Director Datuk Huzir Mohamad also confirmed that police have initiated a probe into the viral video, which he said was an old clip. It was alleged that the 1-minute 23-second clip, which showed a group of primary school pupils singing the national anthem in Mandarin, was recorded on September 26, 2018 in Seremban Negeri Sembilan. The video, which was posted on several Facebook pages, with one of them garnering over 16,000 views, also sparked outrage among netizens. Now, there's a saying that bad things come in threes. In this case, a fatal blaze, triple murders, a deadly shootout, and even a death sentencing. 3 in a family were killed while another sustained serious burns when their house at Jalan Binjai Pandamaran in Klang caught fire early today. 2 other occupants in the house, aged 27 and 30, luckily managed to flee to safety unharmed. The Selangor Fire and Rescue Department deployed 24 firemen on the scene after receiving a distress call on the fire at 3:12 a.m. The firefighters, who managed to extinguish the blaze about an hour later, found the bodies of the victims in 2 separate bedrooms of the house. The 3 deceased were identified as Phua Yok Moi, Sun Si Eng, both women aged 70 and 54 respectively, as well as a man with disability identified as 22-year-old Ang Kar Hian. Another victim, 55-year-old Ang Cheng Kiat, suffered 50% burns on his body. He was rushed to the Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital for treatment. The 3 bodies were also brought to the same hospital for post-mortem. The cause of the fire and amount of losses are still under investigation. Elsewhere, 3 men were found dead with slash wounds at the workers' quarters of an oil palm plantation in Gemencih Negeri Sembilan. Police have arrested 3 other Indonesian estate workers in connection with the murder case. State Deputy Police Chief SAC Cik Zakaria Othman said the 3 suspects, all with valid travel and work documents, will be remanded to assist investigations. The authorities are also looking for 2 more suspects known as Raza and Ari. A police team was sent to Ladang Chinfat after hearing of a fight there around midnight and found the bodies of the 3 victims, all Indonesians, in a room. They also found a sickle and a knife, both with blood on them, at the crime scene. Initial probe showed that the victims worked in another plantation and went there to meet a friend. Three men aged between 30 and 50 were shot dead in 2 separate shootouts with police in Kampung Sinar Jaya, Kinabatangan yesterday. They were believed to be foreign nationals and are suspected to be involved in drug trafficking and making homemade firearms.
Sabah Deputy Police Commissioner Datuk Azleena Najri said the operation, codenamed Ops Laras, was conducted at 2 locations from 2:30 a.m. yesterday. The first location was at a house which was occupied by 7 family members. All of them did not possess any identification documents.
Pasukan sedang membuat penggeledahan dan pemeriksaan di rumah tersebut pada jam lebih kurang 3:30 pagi. It's about 1 hour later. Tiba-tiba kedengaran bunyi sebuah motosikal menghala ke rumah tersebut yang sedang diperiksa. Kemudian satu tim dalam rumah tersebut telah turun ke bawah untuk membuat tinjauan dan juga seterusnya mengenal pasti siapakah yang datang. Apabila tim ini memperkenalkan diri kepada penama yang datang tersebut, beliau telah bertindak melompat dari motosikal dan melarikan diri ke arah semak berdekatan.
Datuk Azleena added the suspect then fired a shot, forcing police to return fire in self-defense, killing the man at the scene. In the second raid at another house nearby, several shots were fired at the authorities by 2 men, resulting in another shootout that killed both suspects. Checks on the suspects and both houses revealed a number of guns as well as homemade firearms and components, bullets, a machete, drugs, cash and mobile phones.
Three men, including 2 Iranians, were sent to the gallows by the Penang High Court today for trafficking methamphetamine 4 years ago. Judge Dato' Akhtar Tahir meted out the sentence on the trio after the prosecution had succeeded in establishing a prima facie case against them. Now, the accused, J. Balakrishnan, Muhammad Abbasi Yunus and Said Mohsin Namazi Kivaj Said Reza, aged between 31 and 63, were jointly charged with trafficking 48 kilograms of the drug in Seberang Perai Tengah on August 20th, 2015. Another accused in the case, B. Lechmi Devi, aged 56, was acquitted and discharged of the offence after it was proven that she had no knowledge of the drugs. All 4 were charged under the Dangerous Drugs Act, which carries the mandatory death sentence upon conviction. Now, over in Seremban, a former account executive assistant with the Negeri Sembilan Islamic Religious Council was sentenced to 3 years jail over 60 counts of criminal breach of trust (CBT) 8 years ago. Judge Diana Mat Razali handed down the sentence on 49-year-old Riza Kamarudin after she pleaded guilty to forging the signature of her employer and making false claims. The payments, amounting to over 144,000 ringgit, were made through checks to Mazila Enterprise, a company registered under her name. The offence were committed at Jalan Tuanku Munawir between January 5th, 2011 and September 24th, 2012. Now, the PKR Youth Wing's National Congress was marred by violence, which erupted both inside and outside the Malacca International Trade Center, MITC, today. Police had to step in as the violence went out of control, with some 100 people involved in a brawl on the street just outside the convention center. And this prompted PKR President Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim to instruct the party's disciplinary board to expel the troublemakers. The commotion began as the PKR Youth Congress starts this morning after sacked permanent chairman Muhammad Mizan Adli Muhammad Noor was booted out of the convention centre. About 30 PKR Youth Secretary personnel clad in black clashed with Mizan and few others who tried to enter the classic ballroom of the MITC where the Congress is taking place. The commotion also caused other PKR Youth delegates being refused entry, some of whom were shoved and punched. But Mizan and his deputy, Muhammad Ramli Ahmad, were sacked on November 27th, 8 days before the start of the Congress, on the basis that they are above 35 years old. Violence erupted again when PKR Youth Chief Akmal Nazrullah Muhammad Nasir was giving his policy speech and had to momentarily halt as the situation outside the hall began to get heated. Even the audio feed transmitted outside the hall was halted, while a video feed of Akmal's speech on the PKR Facebook page was disrupted. At 12:30 p.m, violence broke out outside the MITC as the delegates were making their way out for lunch and Friday prayers. It was reported that at least one person was injured following a fistfight. Several police personnel were seen at the scene.
Following the fiasco, Datuk Sri Anwar said those found to have been involved in the brawl during the Youth Congress will be sacked from the party. The PKR president said he had instructed party's disciplinary board to terminate the memberships of the troublemakers. In a statement, Datuk Sri Anwar also said such unruly behaviours will not be tolerated and severe action will be taken on the perpetrators. Port Dickson MP also hoped that the police would also investigate the matter and take appropriate action. The commotion started after some 200 delegates were refused entry and commotion broke out at several locations at the MITC. Yesterday, the PKR president warned that action would be taken against anyone who attempts to sabotage the National Congress, as it was a serious offence.
Coming up next, rape survivor set ablaze on her way to court hearing. The details after the break. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us. Now, police shot dead 4 suspects as they tried to escape police custody in Hyderabad on Friday. The 4 were accused of raping, murdering and burning the body of a 27-year-old veterinarian last week. In the 6 a.m. incident, the 4 men were taken to the crime scene in the early hours of Friday for the crime reconstruction. But they attacked the police and tried to run away. However, their escape attempt fell short as the police opened fire. The Deputy Commissioner of Police in Hyderabad added that the suspects also tried to snatch weapons from the guards. Police called an ambulance, but the suspects, aged between 20 and 28, died before medical help had arrived. No details were immediately available, but how many police escorted the 4 accused and whether they were handcuffed or roped together. Despite the crossfire, hundreds of people flocked to the location to celebrate. However, rights activists accused the government of using arbitrary violence to avoid accountability. Meanwhile, it hasn't even been a week since the veterinarian's horrific murder that a 23-year-old rape survivor was set ablaze by a gang of men, including her alleged rapist, as she was on her way to court to testify against him in Uttar Pradesh. The victim is currently in critical condition, suffering from 90% burns. Police said she was on her way to catch a train in Unnao district to attend the hearing when she was doused with kerosene and set on fire. All 5 men have been detained. Police documents showed the woman had filed a complaint with Unnao police in March, alleging that she had been raped at gunpoint on December 12, 2018. Having been subsequently jailed, the alleged rapist was released last week after securing bail. Protesters and parliamentarians are pressing for courts to fast-track rape cases and demanding tougher penalties. Uttar Pradesh is India's most populous state and has become notorious for its poor record regarding crimes against women, with more than 4,200 cases of rape reported in 2017, the highest in the country. 4 people were killed in a gun battle at a highway in Florida Thursday when 2 armed thieves tried to escape after robbing a jewelry store in Coral Gables near Miami. The suspects hijacked a delivery truck, took its driver hostage, and then led police on a high-speed chase that ended in a deadly shootout. The crossfire ensued when the delivery truck was caught in traffic around 5:30 p.m. local time in Miramar. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, among the 4 dead were the 2 suspects, the delivery truck driver and a bystander. 1 person was taken on a stretcher into an ambulance, while another in critical condition was flown to a hospital by helicopter. The FBI is leading the investigation. A wedding ceremony turns tragedy in Iran when a heating gas pipe exploded, killing at least 11 people, including 5 children and 5 women, in the Kurdish city of Saqqez on Thursday. With this, the government announced a one-day public mourning in the western province. Now, according to state media, 42 people were injured in the evening blast, 3 of them in serious condition. The incident reportedly occurred following a leak from the pipe feeding the heater inside the wedding hall. Rescue teams and ambulances were dispatched to the scene, where 3 of the injured were reported to be in serious condition. Such incidents occasionally occur in Iran, which are mainly blamed on widespread disregard for safety measures, old and outdated equipment, and inadequate emergency services. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng announced that the Malaysian government's direct debt had at most increased 94.1 billion ringgit since Pakatan Harapan took over the government until end June this year. In a statement today, Lim said the 94.1 billion ringgit increase in direct debt had financed development expenditure, fiscal deficit and debt repayments, which includes One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB borrowings.
Lim Guan Eng said this as he denied claims made by irresponsible parties that the country's direct debt had increased by 245 billion ringgit. He added that the total 1MDB debt, including its interest, is 50.5 billion ringgit, which will only be fully paid off by 2039. The government will have paid 13.9 billion ringgit to finance debt and interest relating to 1MDB and SRC International Sdn Berhad from 2017 until 2020. Lim's statement today was issued in conjunction with the country's Debt Management Committee's meeting on Monday. Today, he said the committee had during the meeting highlighted the importance of containing government guarantees and public-private partnership obligations in order to avoid unnecessary intergenerational transfers of debt burden.
And now Bursa Malaysia ended the week higher today, in line with most of the regional markets, as optimism on the US-China trade deal outlook brought more buying activities into the market. The benchmark FBM KLCI rose 4.86 points to finish at 1,568.44 from yesterday's close. Now on to stocks to watch. My News Holdings Berhad's new food processing centre, FPC, in Kota Damansara is currently running at an average utilisation rate of 40%, where it currently supplies around 370 My News retail outlets. Upon full utilisation, the current production capacity of the FPC is estimated to be able to supply all the requirements for ready-to-eat and bakery products for 600 outlets. With more new My News store openings, the demand for FPC products is also expected to rise moving forward. And last but not least, Sapura Energy Berhad reported a core net loss of 119.8 million ringgit for Q3 of financial year 2020, despite higher revenue of 1.8 billion ringgit. However, the group also announced that it has secured multiple contracts in various countries with a combined value of 615 million ringgit, which is seen to strengthen the group's order book, profile and earnings visibility. Now let's take a short breather, but when we return, video of a man picking a fight with a snake gets backlash. Stay with us for the details. We're back with Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making the rounds in the cyber world today. Now, on Earth, we human beings share this living space with other living creatures, and we'd eventually come face to face when territories clash, amongst other circumstances. Now, there are multiple ways to handle such situations, and in this case, this man in Kelantan who saw a snake on the side of the road decided to decided a painful fate for the reptile. However, a video of the incident leaves netizens divided over his actions. Take a look.
The waters flooding Kelantan for about a week now is slowly subsiding. Hence, it's only normal to see our slithering friends going out and about. This scaly fella was simply minding his own business near the puddles and bushes, until this man, armed with a sickle machete, climbed down from his motorcycle and casually severed the snake's head off. As it helplessly wriggles in pain, the man seemed to be proudly showing off the severed head to the camera. Some netizens came to the snake's defense, as the poor creature wasn't posing a threat to him in the first place, and that he should have minded his own business, since the snake is pretty much in its own habitat. Another netizen, however, felt otherwise, saying that it's best not to risk them slithering into your home by killing them first, before they could kill you.
And now updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. Now let's take a look at the current standings of the 2019 SEA Games. As of 7:30 p.m, the Malaysian contingent to the Manila SEA Games has amassed 28 gold, 20 silver and 29 bronze medals and is placed 5th among 11 participating nations. And as of today, the Malaysian diving team takes home 2 gold medals from the targeted 4, and you bet they're aiming for a clean sweep. Now let's take a look at the highlights from day 6 of the 30th SEA Games.
National diver Wendy Yan Yi led from start to finish to claim the first diving gold for Malaysia at New Clark City Aquatics Centre. Wendy earned 235.9 points in the 5-dive 3-meter springboard individual final to take gold ahead of fellow teammate Jasmine Lai, who finished with 192.75. Meanwhile, diving duo Ui Zi Liang and Chiu Yiwei claimed the second gold for Malaysia and finished the 6-dive competition with 398.16 points. Meanwhile, national swimmer P. Jing En finished 3rd in the 200-meter breaststroke final. The event was just a warm-up for her, and she had done exceptionally well in it before the real task of delivering gold begins tonight. The 22-year-old showed she is in good form, heading into her sprint events with a bronze last night.
Now fans can look forward to the cinema release of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker in just a matter of weeks. And in conjunction with the upcoming conclusion of the epic space opera franchise, spanning 9 episodes since 1977, Dolby Laboratories and Walt Disney Studios are presenting an interactive exhibition in New York celebrating the entire Skywalker saga. Visuals of the limited-time exhibition ends tonight's 7Edition. With that, I'm Azleena Najri. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend. Good night.